In this video, we're going to discuss why is everybody leaving San Antonio? That's a question that you might be asking yourself because you have thought about moving to San Antonio. So why is everybody leaving San Antonio? That's what we're going to discuss right now. A major reason a lot of people are moving out of San Antonio is because of how hot it is here. It's because of the heat. Majority of the year is going to be super hot, especially during the summer months. You find June, July, August, even September, pretty much the hottest months out of the year. You still get warmer weather in the springtime and even going into the fall time, but the majority of the year, I'd say around 8 to 9 months, is going to be pretty warm, especially in the summer. I can remember visiting SeaWorld here in San Antonio and even Six Flags. If you like theme parks and if you like the dolphins and killer whales and all that stuff, to go out with your families. I even remember, having lotion bottles exploded in the car because of sitting in the car so much in the heat while you're out there enjoying yourself with your family, with friends, out of these theme parks. And it can be so annoying, cleaning up after that mess happens. Obviously I found out the hard way. Other friends have found out the hard way like I have, but it's something that you guys will definitely experience if you forget something like that in the car. Anything like perishables, like another example is chapstick. My wife has several chapsticks in the car, and when you leave it down on a horizontal and you've used it, when you come back, like wherever the level of the cylinder of the chapstick is, like literally halfway, and then when you use it and you put it back on a vertical, you only get the half part. It's weird, but you guys know what I'm saying. But it's so annoying. I love San Antonio. I still live here, but a lot of the feedback that I've been getting with other clients and other customers and even just other people that freshly moved here, they just are annoyed how hot it is. And it's so brutally hot here. Like, it's scorched grass sometimes in the summertime, especially when there's drought. It can be very annoying and so hot. Since we're on the topic of climate, as I mentioned how hot it is here, a lot of people are moving out of San Antonio is because they want to experience true 4 seasons. They want to experience summer, fall, winter, and spring in its right order. I know here in San Antonio, it's very difficult to experience like traditional seasons that you might experience up north in the country, where you do actually get nice snow, probably in Montana area, Chicago area in the Midwest, and maybe New York, stuff like that. People miss, it can be hot here. If you like warm weather, San Antonio is for you. But if you like your 4 seasons, San Antonio might not be a good fit, which is why so many people are moving out of here. We don't have true seasons. Yes, we do experience every season as it comes, but we rarely have snow here. We do not have mountains, which I'll get into in the next topic. Actually, might as well just go into it. Another topic is we do not have mountains here. A lot of people love their nature. They love their hikes. They love their, going mountain biking. We can't do that here. We do have a lot of Texas Hill Country, but that's something that we do not have here. So in regards to climate and the nature scene, you're going to be very limited in San Antonio. It's not the end of the world. I truly enjoy it here. Texas Hill Country is a scene of itself. It has a beauty of its own, but many clients, when we represent clients that are looking to sell their properties, majority of the reasons are based on these couple topics that we just covered right now. Quick interruption right now. We want to take a quick break and let you guys know that if you are moving to San Antonio, relocating to San Antonio, and if you've really consider to move in the next 7 days or the next 7 months, it does not matter. We get phone calls, texts, Zoom links, bookings with us from people every day just like you that are looking to contact us. So if that's something that the case, go ahead and do that right now. Hit that link in the description below, or you can contact us on the phone, whatever's best for you. But we want to hear you, hear what you say, hear what you want to do, and we'll be glad to serve you guys because we got your back. Another reason why people are moving away from San Antonio is, believe it or not, the lack of public land access. What do I mean by that? You see, you'll find out quickly if you move here to Texas is that the majority of property is owned by either families or corporations or LLCs or things of that nature. So it's very limited for public land. I know I have friends from Arizona that say, "Oh, we went camping out in some desert or some random piece of land," where you cannot do that here in Texas, especially in San Antonio. San Antonio has obviously ranches and large plots of land, but people own those, so you can't just go randomly on some owner's property. You know, they'll probably have like a no trespassing sign, or beware of dog, or some sort of sign that says you can't trespass at all, because it's their property. They own that much acreage, and they don't want to see you on their land. So it's very difficult to, you know, go camping randomly anywhere in Texas because of this detail. It's very difficult to, you know, just hang out with friends and just go randomly anywhere you want because of whatever activity you guys might want to do, whether it's a dirt bike riding or ATV, four-wheelers, or whatever the sport may be, or, you know, camping with family. That's very difficult to do that here in Texas. So that's one of the majority reasons that people are leaving San Antonio. If you're anything like me, you like fishing, you might like hunting, it's very difficult to do that on public land here. We don't have that. So if that's something you guys like to do, you gotta have a friend, you gotta have a family member that maybe owns like 50 acres, owns like 100 acres, maybe even 5 acres, what have you, in order to do those activities. Actually, I'm shooting this video in the month of September in 2024, and my family and I, we have a camping trip scheduled in October in Garner State Park. It's such a beautiful national state park here, about an hour and a half away, I'd say, not knowing from the Google Maps, but just from past experience. And we're gonna do that a second time now. It's so pretty there. My family and I, my extended family here in San Antonio, and some friends from Houston, we're gonna go camping over there in Garner State Park. And obviously there are designated parks and regions in Texas where you can go camping, you can go fishing and all that stuff, but when it comes to public land, it's very minimum here compared to other states in the country of the US. So another topic that a lot of people are moving out of the city of San Antonio is this traffic and infrastructure. What do I mean by that? Let me just read you a quote that I found off of Reddit. As a lot of locals read this page, and I just want to give you guys word for word, and I quote: "When I first lived in San Antonio, it was over by Alamo Ranch area before it exploded. Took a tour on duty and the East Coast, came back and moved to the northeast side, Alamo Heights side of town." Alamo Heights is a city near central San Antonio. Okay, side of town. "Even though the property value was higher in that area, I could drive to Fort Sam, Houston, 12 minutes. My mom lived off of 151 and Potranco, which is on the west side of town, near SeaWorld area, and I would only visit on Sunday morning because the traffic wouldn't be so bad. I decided to leave San Antonio because the city and county has done absolutely nothing to improve its infrastructure and probably won't do anything for the decade. They'll let out of state and country developers buy that property up and gentrify as much as they can while raising property taxes 300% every year. I'm originally from California myself and haven't been back since I left from San Antonio. Actually, from high school. But my kid is thinking of going to school there. Maybe I'll go back then." So that's a complaint I saw off of Reddit of a person that lived here in San Antonio. I can tell you right now, in San Antonio, it is very congested. Right now, we're getting a lot of construction with the bridges on I-10 and 1604, I-35 and 1604. And you'll see that if you visit here in San Antonio looking to shop around for a home, if you are, or just visiting, you'll see a lot of traffic taking place and a lot of the congestion. So this comment, I can attest to that. I'm a local here, I live here, and I know that can be so annoying to experience, but it is what it is. We have to go through that right now, I think in the next couple of years or so. So it is what it is. Traffic, if you're gonna commute to work, make sure you get up early, go to work, you know, and I don't even know if you're watching this and you're moving to San Antonio or not. But if you are, let us know. But none of those. Back to the topic. It is bad. Traffic is bad. Infrastructure here is bad. Some people get confused on the frontage roads. You may ask yourself, what is a frontage road? Is that access road on the side of the expressway, freeway, highway, whatever you want to call it? And it's hard. It's a little bit confusing at first. I got used to it because I lived here as a kid, around 12 years old, but it can't be like that. Next topic is job transfers. A lot of people are leaving San Antonio because they have better jobs elsewhere. It kind of sucks, but the stats on I think it's mysa.com or mysanantonio.com said San Antonio ranked number 22 out of 117 cities with an overall decline score of 61.3. The fastest declining city, San Francisco, had a score of 73.9, and the lowest score of 21.8 went to Frisco, which was the fastest growing city on the list. The report pulled data from the U.S. Census Bureau. There you go. The per capita income of San Antonio declined by 26.5% from 2019 to 2022, according to the list. The house price increased by 7.6%, and the amount of vacant housing increased by 9%. Experts in the report attribute population decline to rising cost of living and home prices and COVID changing people's work habits. There you go. Some of the several reasons is because of what I just read. A lot of other people are moving because of job transfers. I know I just had recently a seller. They're moving away from San Antonio because obviously Texas is bigger, and you have we're closer to the border of Mexico and Texas. So he works. I'm not going to mention his name, but he works closer. He wants to move closer to the border so that way he can have a better commute to work. Because think about it. Depending on where he works, I don't know exactly where, but driving to the border of Mexico, it could take anywhere from 4 to 5 hours. If you want to go to Matamoros, right, near the tip of Texas on the down south, it can take anywhere from that. So it can be annoying, that commute from time to time, and miss family time, and it can be very detrimental to your family if you have little kids and you want to see them grow and you work. It's going to be very conflicting hours. So a lot of people, are going to go out of San Antonio because of better jobs. It is what it is. Sometimes San Antonio is not a great fit for everybody, and we know that. So that's something to definitely consider if you have considered moving to San Antonio. Make sure you guys do your own research. See if the jobs here are much better for you. Sometimes they're better jobs. I know I have some feedback even from people that come in our church. They're saying, man, it's so difficult to find jobs here. It's so difficult to find work. And either one thing on my mind comes, either you're a lazy person and you want everything to be handed to you, or two, it is actually difficult. The economy in your niche is probably very difficult to find a job in, whereas where you came from is going to be more plentiful, more bountiful, right? So that's something that a lot of people are moving away from San Antonio. I did want to read you guys a comment that I found very intriguing on Reddit, and it was from a local that lived here. They said, "I'd love to move out. In all honesty, I've been a transplant since 2003, but I visited different parts of the world. I just feel that San Antonio is pretty bland, and there's very little opportunity for growth. For example, I'm transitioning career paths from marketing to business analytics, and this made me realize how undervalued such professions are in this city. Mostly the city is dominant from either small business or corporate-owned businesses, but for the most part, these businesses don't require such help locally." So I'm hearing a lot of frustration from this guy. A lot of young professionals leave as a result, and the people who don't leave get caught up in a basic blue-collar work, and sometimes I feel like they don't desire a professional career. Aside from a professional aspect, San Antonio lacks a lot of diversity, which I can attest to. It is very cultural, but I'd say living here for a while now, over 60% of San Antonio is mostly Hispanic. Then you have that leftover 40% of diversity. Whereas other cities like Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, these bigger cities are like Houston, Dallas, more cultural, more diversified. He's right in this aspect. where was I? Aside from the professional aspect, San Antonio lacks a lot of diversity. People from different backgrounds are present in the city, but unlike the Caucasian and Hispanic population, they are as out in the open. I myself, not me, but the guy that is saying this quote, this comment, I myself am Muslim, but the only other place I see fellow Muslims is in my mosque. I visited Chicago before, and the first thing I noticed is how amplified the different communities were. For example, Chinatown, Devon, Lincoln Square, and I used to live in Chicago, so I know those areas. And this has left me further disheartened that San Antonio doesn't have this level of diversity. So one day it might be Chicago for me. I'm gonna stop right there. I can attest to that. I know for a fact, and I'm frustrated, even as a local, that we don't have anything like a Chinatown or a Greek town. Like, because I'm talking in terms like, as a child, when I used to live in Chicago, I know the area in Chicago, they have plenty of those, they have Taste of Chicago around the summertime. A lot of diversity over there. We don't have that here. We do have its own culture, how should I say, fiesta, all that stuff that we have here, but it's more geared towards this Hispanic community here. It's interesting. You'll know what I'm talking about if you live here. Okay, let's move on. He said, that said, the things I do love about San Antonio would probably be HEB, Mexican food, and how friendly people are. So I can attest to that too. San Antonio is very friendly. Anywhere you meet someone, they're gonna talk to you. You're gonna pretend like you know them for like many years. You're gonna strike up a conversation even at the HEB line. Every time I go to HEB, especially if I'm not with my wife, I really reward myself by getting those HEB tortillas. If you haven't tried the HEB tortillas, it's almost even better than the Snickers. Like, it is so good, buttery tortilla. It's not even taco. Obviously, you use that to make tacos, but I just eat them on the way by myself back home, just to reward myself for getting the groceries that my wife said I forgot to get. Right. So that's a side note, but everything this guy mentioned, I can really attest to, even being a local here. So another topic is the dating scene. You might wonder why that is a huge reason for people leaving, but San Antonio is pretty well diversified as far as age. You have a lot of families that are settled, and then you have a lot of young people that obviously want to explore, do adventures, and obviously have a dating life, right? So another comment I found, it says that San Antonio is among the worst places to be single because everyone has a family by age 25 or has left town by then, and there's very little that attracts single folks here. I want to tell you guys a story. When I first met my wife, I actually met her in Chicago. Being a believer in Christ, you want to marry within the body of Christ. So, and I wanted to marry within my culture and my heritage. My family is Romanian, right? So I can see the frustration in that comment where dating is very difficult here. And I don't know about you guys who are watching online, but I dated long distance with my wife when we were dating at the time, when she was my girlfriend. So we did have times where I had a good time, growing up here, and we did a lot of stuff. But I remember, when I had my wife visit here, I would take her out to, we would go to the lakes, we would go kayaking together, we would go on hikes together, we'd do a lot of shopping together, So on one hand, I found it very easy to date because obviously I found the one for myself and my future, right? But it seems that it's pretty difficult to date here in San Antonio based off of these comments and the things that I've read, and obviously other clients as well that are in the younger demographics. I don't know, sometimes it's a hit or miss, so I'll just leave it at that. The last topic I want to cover is property crime. I can tell you personally, firsthand, I don't want to victimize myself. I never want to do that, but it's so annoying because it actually happened to me earlier this year. I'll even have a recording on overlay as I'm talking. I I had this guy like around 5 in the morning, you know, check my truck and check my car in the driveway. And I live in a pretty decent area. I live in near I-10, the Zavala Eckert area. And those areas are pretty decent. Like, I don't see any major crimes here or any at all for the matter. And I've never had this happen to me since I moved here in the summer of 2021 in this particular part of town in San Antonio. And when I found out on my Ring app, I was like, I felt violated almost. Like, what? Why are you checking my car? Luckily, thank God I had my cars locked. You know, and it was funny because at the time my in-laws were living with me, and both my father-in-law and my brother-in-law, they get up very early in the morning, and they get around, I don't know, 5:30 up in the morning. And this happened like literally 10-15 minutes before they even went out to their car to go to their job site. You know, it's crazy how that happened. And not just that, I talked to my neighbor, his son, he lives on the other side of the street on the next block. He told me the same thing that happened to him too. It's not crazy theft, but it was like petty theft. You know, they're just opening doors to check if you guys have, like, if you have like extra cash, any valuables in the car. Nothing too crazy. But you know, property crime can be pretty high, is what I've heard recently, especially if you have those neighborhood apps. You know, the Ring app. I get all these dings and notifications. Oh, did you hear a gunshot? Or did you hear this? Or look, someone went into my car. Like, it's crazy. I even talked to a member of my small group at church that I sing with, and another incident happened, the same thing. And it was like early in the morning, 4 or 5 in the morning, young teenagers, you know, just like 4 or 5 of them just checking out cars in the driveway, and just, it's like, guys, get a life. It's, you know, work for your stuff, right? So if you're anything like me, you find that very annoying. But you know, if you guys are in San Antonio and are considering moving, you know, definitely lock your doors, cars, all that stuff. Like, guys, it happens to the best of us. So you may think it'll never happen to you, but hey, it did happen to me, right? So that's that. This is the end of the video. And if you guys like more content like this, be sure to subscribe and get notified as soon as we hit another video into your news feed. And if you guys are looking at moving to San Antonio, don't hesitate to reach out, because we got your back 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, days, nights, weekends. We can't wait to help you guys. And see you guys on the next video.